As you will hear throughout this new rapid reaction, they are taking Rupp Arena down after Rob Dillingham blew the roof off the place during Kentucky's come-from-behind win late in the game against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Kentucky scored 111 points. Another 100-piece for the Cats. You had Reeves getting his fifth 20-point game, but it was really the freshmen who shined in this one as John Calipari relied on the 5 newcomers to close the game, leaving Trey Mitchell and Antonio Reeves on the bench. He trusted the new guys, and they got it done. It was a game of runs. I think there were 17 lead changes. Both teams led by at least 9. We got to a point where it looked like Arkansas, they had sucked the energy out of this building. And guys, if we're being honest, might have thought Kentucky was in trouble there for a split second, but as we said, Dillingham went off. He was the star in those last 7 minutes when he checked in to lead the team. I got to quickly, before we start breaking this all down, I just want to read the Rob Dillingham stretch, as I cannot pull it up. Well, I don't have it in front of me.
I would love to know.
But he comes in, he gets the and one that cuts it to 1, I believe. They give up a basket. Then he had 2 free throws. Then he comes down, gets another layup. He's throwing a lob to Big Z. He's throwing a lob to Justin Edwards. I believe in the second half, Rob Dillingham had 13 points and 4 assists, all just in the second half. I mean, he did what only Rob Dillingham can do. The first 7.5 minutes looked unplayable. The last 7.5, there's not a better player in the country, and that's why Kentucky won this game. Drew Franklin here will now finally shut up and turn to my friends Zach Gagan and Jacob Polachek. Jack Pilgrim has the day off. We like weddings this time of season. I believe that's where he is. We'll catch up with him later, but for now, Zach, you want to just talk about what Rob did? And it wasn't just Rob. As I said, Big Z was helping out in that run. Justin Edwards came in cold.
Justin Edwards
Hits a 3 off the bench. It was just an exciting finish for the 5 rookies.
Yeah, it was. I believe to set the scene, it was 86-80 Arkansas lead with 7:50 left. That's when Antonio Reeves went to the bench. I think it was, I don't know if it was the exact moment, but that was also when Justin Edwards came in to replace Trey Mitchell, who made he played his first minutes since February 13th against Ole Miss. He looked like a guy who hadn't played any minutes since February 13th against Ole Miss. He was struggling just to get his shot up. His whole left shoulder was just like still taped and wrapped up. Like, I'm sure it was all uncomfortable for him, but he just clearly did not look like he was ready to contribute in the way that UK needed. So Cal turns to Justin Edwards. He comes in, he hits, like Drew said, a big 3. He had a pull, his signature little pull up on the baseline. He just came in. I think he had 8 points in that final stretch there. He came, like you said, ice cold. I think he'd only played 7 minutes to that point.
And 2 steals. I want to add that.
And
did
2
both
steals.
ends.
I think one of those steals ended up in a turnover, but hey, we will. We don't care about that part right now. And then Rob Dillingham. Just did Rob Dillingham things. My favorite part about that was just how Rob and Big Z knew that their pick and roll was unguardable, and it was literally unguardable. They went to it every single play. Rob pretty much said that he knew, like after the game, he said that he knew that Arkansas had no way, no possibility to stop that because you've got so many options out of that. You can do pretty much anything with Big Z catching the ball and being able to catch, pass, dribble, shoot, whatever Cal likes to say. And it was just to the point where it didn't even matter if Arkansas was scoring because Kentucky was going to get it right back and probably put up 3 more points to their 2, and that's just kind of how it worked. The math equation worked out. Kentucky did get a couple of nice, much-needed stops. That's really, I think Jacob and I were kind of talking like all Kentucky needed was just 2 or 3 stops, and that was the ball game, and that's what happened. A lot of it was, I thought Rob even had some really good defensive plays at the end. It's not like he wasn't fouling, which I think is just a step of an improvement for Rob on defense, and then you're just funneling him into a guy like Big Z who's 7'2" and was just like inhaling these easy rebounds that were coming right off the rim.
He had 6 of them in that stretch.
Look at Drew Franklin with the stretch facts.
It's almost like I already wrote the recap and know these things.
Yeah, it's like he was here watching the game with us. And then just all those things combined. I mean, we haven't even talked about how DJ Wagner had 19 points. But yeah, it was just weird how it all worked out. Like you said, the 2 fifth-year guys were watching from the bench, and 5 freshmen came in and won this game for Kentucky against an Arkansas team that, if we're being honest, they kind of are stinky.
They lost to Vandy at home.
They lost to Vandy at home about 3 days ago. And the fact that they scored 102 points, I don't know what that says about Kentucky. Maybe I shouldn't say they're bad at all, but Kentucky found a way to end a comeback attempt from Arkansas, who's just mostly made up of older dudes. So they came in desperate. I don't know if their season's over. Pretty much they know it. But it was just very impressive all the way around for a game that I don't know if I felt Kentucky was going to lose, but there was a point when they were down 9 with about maybe 8 or 9 minutes left where I was like, this could get bad very quickly.
You mentioned Arkansas. and, you know, I wish all of them the best at what they do after this. But if you're on that team, I think you have to quit basketball because you shot 53% from the field, 41% from three.
That free throw stat.
96% from free
They
throws.
shot 28 free
scored
throws.
102 points. You're up by 7 with 7 minutes to go. What more do you want? But then you look up and there's something called Rob Dillingham. I'm sorry Kentucky has one of those. I know there's only one of them and he's a bit of a cheat code, and I'm sorry you ran into that. Razorbacks played a great game. You're going home because of a loss, because of those 5 freshmen. But it wasn't just the 5 freshmen. We got to shout out Aaron Bradshaw. He wasn't among the last 5, but he was part of the first half run there at the end. I think he had 12 first half points. He had his first 3 since the Florida game. Aaron Bradshaw wasn't a part of that group, but he took another big step forward, Jacob. That's a guy, as Big Z plays more, Ugo's played a lot of minutes. You wonder where Bradshaw fits. But today he said, I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I wondered that as well. I wondered that as well. I was ready to say during that first half, give Z all the minutes of the 5, and Bradshaw made me eat my words because he was awesome in that first half. And then talking to him after the game, you can just tell how much these 3 7-footers love each other and just support each other. Bradshaw was saying none of them really care about who gets the minutes. They just want to see this team win, and it was really promising to see.
It's crazy how with the 7-footers, you can't leave one behind. Right when you think, got to lose some minutes, it's like they have one of their best games.
Well, it's becoming a game-by-game thing. Like we were almost, I mean, Big Z still had a good game, but we were like, all right, time to give Big Z all the minutes, you know, let's limit him. And then Aaron has his best game in literally like a month and a half. So, and then Ugo's clearly getting a little frustrated too, and I feel like it's definitely hard for him to deal with all this and how things are going for him because obviously he's just struggled really hard the last couple games, and you've got Big Z's pretty much surpassed him entirely in the rotation. But all this being said, it would not shock me one bit if Ugo comes out and plays 30 minutes in the next game and has another 8 or 9 block game while Big Z's on the bench because he can't guard anyone on the floor. We're just in a game-by-game situation with those 3. And I don't know if that's good or bad at this point in the season. It's nice to know that if one of the 7-footers is having an off game, you can just chuck another one in there, and odds are good that they're going to be playing well. But, yeah, it's an interesting cycle to see how they're just kind of rotating in and out, and obviously they're fine with it for the most part. Yeah, it's a good problem to have. You know, like I said, Ugo definitely, it seems like he's getting a little frustrated, but it's not like he's not cheering on the bench or anything. He's still being a good teammate. So the vibes overall are good with the big men. We just need to get Trey Mitchell right. That's kind of the last missing piece right now.
I just got distracted. I looked up and I saw that CBS Sports banner that I've been talking about, and no one's around it, and they're leaving. Am I actually going to get the CBS?
Are you going to steal that?
I shouldn't admit that on camera. Steven, edit this if I do end up with that. I can't believe we've gone this far, and whatever. I can keep talking. I can't believe we've gone this far and we have not mentioned DJ Wagner. The header photo on my story that is titled "Led by Dillingham" is actually a photo of DJ Wagner. I forgot to change it because I wrote mostly about him until Dillingham went nuclear. But I was so happy for DJ Wagner. For the second straight game, he puts Kentucky on the board first with a 3-pointer. After going 0 for 15 for an entire month, he hit a 3 to start the game in Starkville, hit a 3 to start this game. He ended up with 3 in the first half, then hit a 4th in the second half for 4 threes. I mean, he's now done it twice in a row. We don't know what it'll mean moving forward, but he's certainly out of that shooting slump. That's just a guy, Cal even says it, like when you're cheering for one guy, don't put another guy down. I feel like there's been a lot of that with DJ just because the other guys have been playing so well. So it's so good to see him because he is important. His defense is better than the other guys.
Yes.
The 3, that stretch where he wasn't hitting it, I worried because they had stopped guarding him, and that changes the entire offense. But when you go 3 for 4, hit 2 like you did last game, I feel like DJ Wagner, like we just said about Bradshaw, right when you worry about a guy, they have the game they need to make a big statement. So he's another one I wanted to shout out there.
And it's weird, right, how, you know, after a guy gets hurt and then has a couple of bad games, when he's finally starting to feel better, so does his game. And that's kind of how it's been the last 2 games now for DJs. He's just clearly feeling better with his ankle. He's more confident. He was finishing shots at the rim now that he was missing earlier. He's just got more lift on his shot. He's more confident. He's clearly more comfortable shooting these threes now. Like Drew said, he was just coming out chucking. I think he took 3 threes in the first, maybe 2 minutes, and he hit 2 of them. And, if he goes 0 for 3 there, the kid might not shoot another 3 the rest of the season. But he makes 2 of those 3. He's just a very confident player. His defense was... It's hard to kind of tell, how good any of these guards are at defense because it doesn't really seem like any of them are. But DJ's intensity and the way that he's getting in his stance and guarding guys at half court, it sets the tone for how the rest of that possession is going to go. And You know, I don't know how much it actually leaks out to the rest of his teammates and whatnot, but I think it helps his own confidence when he's playing well on defense, or at least locking himself in. It locks himself in on both sides of the floor. And we just got a really great – I mean, he had 19 points. What did he shoot? He shot 6 for 7.
November.
Most since November. Didn't have like any other counting stats, but the guy just found a way to get buckets, and he was a part of that lineup down the stretch there that played really well. And it's not like he was doing much with the ball, but he's out there as a threat as well. Like, you just have to respect him. So very happy for DJ, very happy for Justin, very happy for Aaron. All the guys that have kind of gone through weird droughts this year kind of all seem to have important parts in this game. So it was just fun to see all around for guys like that.
It was fun for everybody. I'm happy for you. Happy for Jacob.
Thanks.
Jacob over here, both of you start the beat, and I don't know that we've won a tournament game since.
No, I'm just on one. I'm just on the one.
Not moved to the next weekend.
Yes.
Glad you got to have some fun today. Jacob, it looks like they might be taking the court down right now. They're pointing at us. We should probably leave, but before we go, there's one game left. Will we see the new court? Remember, they took it away from us in December, said it'll be back. There's one home game left. What court will be here on Wednesday, on senior night?
I unfortunately have a feeling this court will be here on senior night. But
any troubles with senior night? You worried at all, Vandy?
Yeah, good team coming to town.
I don't think I'm worried, but
the Brennan Canada
when
game.
I'm not worried is when I should be worried. So we'll see.
Well, I'm worried that CBS left and that banner's still there, so I'm going to shut it off again, Steven, if that ends up in my backpack. Blur all this out, but we're going to sign off now.
You'll
so
see
I
it
can
in
go
KS Bar in 2 days.
It was an awesome day here at Rupp. 111 to 102. Heard Tom Leach say that's the most points UK's given up in a win since Pistol Pete.
1970 is, I think, what the year was.
A long time ago. That's all right. You don't need defense when you got 111. Drew here, Jacob, and every time. Zach, Jacob, we're signing off. As always, thank you for subscribing. When we're live here, we can't read the comments, but I hope you're commenting and I hope you're being nice. If you're being mean, get out of here. But go Cats, and we'll get Vandy on Wednesday.